We as humans are meant for the stars. I didn't think this would be the first video that I was going to try and record on this channel, but here we are. This is a conversation that I had with a buddy of mine a few days ago. It was like 5 a.m. when we were talking about this, 4 a.m., something like that. And it really made me think how incredible human beings are. We were just talking about the complexity of the world and of the human body and of all these things that we kind of look past on a day-to-day basis, or at least I do. Maybe it's, it's a different experience for everyone, but I really don't think about all of these things too often in such a deep level. It'll be, surface level, like, oh cool, like I'm, commanding my body or walking without thinking about it, something like that, but it's not as deep of a thought as when I was talking to him the other night. And even going back as far as a kid, a phrase that I would hear a lot is shoot for the stars. And when you really think about it, it's almost as if it's been ingrained in us, in our humanity, for as long as I can remember. And we are the only species that has the ability to have these thoughts. Like a lion isn't going to kill a deer while it's eating, while it's hungry, and think, oh man, let me do this as humanely as possible. I don't want to hurt it. I don't want it to suffer or anything like that. It's just gonna do it. It's gonna chase the deer. It's gonna hunt it, kill it, shred it, rip it apart. And it's maybe fucked up, but that's just how nature is. And we as humans have the ability, the gift, whether it's of the universe or of God or whatever you believe, we have the ability to think and reevaluate the things that we have going on in our lives and the things going on in the world, instead of just looking at it at a surface level. Oh, I'm hungry, I'm going to kill this thing. We have ways to do it humanely and make the animal suffer as little as possible, instead of just the animalistic way of, I'm hungry, let me eat. And it's just one of the incredible things that we as humans are allowed to experience. One of the things that we're allowed to enjoy the gift of, and no other animal gets to experience this. No other animal gets to think the way that we do. No other animal will look in the mirror one day and think to themselves, I'm gonna die. They have to live on damn near the edge every single day, trying to hunt and fight and survive in their own ways and get their own food and do all these things. They don't have a society that's put together like us, which, I mean, it sounds like such a stupid thing to say. Like, of course they don't. But when you're, the way I'm thinking about it right now is just like, because we have this society, this almost wall formed around us where we can go to the grocery store and get food that's pre-packaged, and we can go to our job to pay our bills and to have a roof over our head, and to be protected from nature, and to have water to drink and food to eat readily available for the most part. I know there are some places that don't, and I'm speaking from, an American point of view, but because we have these things, we don't have to constantly worry about, oh, I need to find food, I need to find water, all this, and it lets us have these introspective thoughts about life and the meaning of life and all these other things, and to loop back into it when we realize we're gonna die one day. It's not something like, oh, I'm gonna die one day, it is what it is. Everybody knows that, but when you really realize that we don't know what happens after death, it kind of gets a little bit, I don't want to say scary, but it's a different point of view. And I know it might be different from religion to religion. As a Christian man myself, I think that I'm going to go into heaven, of course. A different topic of if you think anyone deserves to go to heaven, or if it's just because we're saved by Christ, but a different topic. Or if you're not religious or an atheist or even an agnostic, and you think that when we die nothing happens, it's still a different core belief, because you're out of time. You're realizing that you can't do the things that you want to do anymore. You can't do anything. You can't talk to the people that you love. You can't talk to your friends, your family. You can't enjoy life anymore because there's no more life to enjoy. You're dead. And it's something, again, that we get to enjoy as humans. And whether you want to think it's a gift from the universe or a gift of God, the way I look at it is I think that we're God's chosen people, as God's chosen species, I should say, being the only species that is allowed to have experiences like this. And as humans, we have such a unique ability to innovate and grow, and that's what I think. That's how I look at it when I say we're meant for the stars. We've come from such little things, as our ancestors were hunting with bows and arrows and spears and clubs and all of these damn near doohickeys that we made to help us survive that we don't have to worry about anymore, obviously. And then we went to guns, and then we started, making metal and making factories and working on new ways to innovate, new ways to make our lives better, and new ways to explore, whether it's the oceans, our own planets. And eventually now we're looking more into space, and we've been to the moon, and we have space stations and satellites and all of these things that we've come so far from making, or so far from before, I guess, for lack of a better train of thought in that department. But now, from wooden tools to steel to now a device in our pockets that can look anything up and take pictures, and a computer that I can record this on, a microphone, and none of this stuff that I know how it works. Like, yeah, I can say, the CPU powers the PC, the fans keep it cool, the GPU shows you the images and helps, whatever. But I couldn't tell you how any of these things work truthfully. That's for the people a lot smarter than me. But now we're trying to explore more in space. Elon Musk is trying to go to fucking Mars, dude. And it's such an irrational thought to me, because I can't wrap my head around the process and how much can possibly go into not only exploring space and of course going to the moon, but going to a different planet and even potentially trying to set up colonies there. And whether it's going to be humans at first or robots, getting even into robots due to AI and all these things that we have developed to help us develop, to help us innovate and to help us grow as a species, it's nuts. But whether we step foot on Mars first or it's a robot, it's something that is being looked into, which I don't know, I could be wrong here. 1,000 years ago, it might not have even been a thought, let alone think it's even possible. Maybe there was some kid who was like, oh, I want to go to Mars, or I want to go to the moon, and their parents were just like, what are you talking about, dude? We gotta feed ourselves. We got wars to fight, man. We're not going to the moon, we're going to the stars. And now look at us. We've gone so far, even just 1,000 years to the point, even just 200 years, 100 years, to where these things are possible. It's possible for us to explore space and explore different planets. And finally, in a more literal way, well, I guess we did it in the moon and we went to space and all this, but in a more literal way now, we can conquer the stars as humans. Not quite, we're not going to be able to go to a star. We're going to burn alive. They're too damn hot and whatnot, but we're able to shoot for the stars, go past them, and land on a planet that will really be an incredible new peak for the human race. When we landed on Mars, or not on Mars, on the moon, it was one of the highlights, the highest points of humanity. It might even still be, because we haven't gone back, but it was like, I can't fathom how incredible of a feature it was being able to go to our moon, land on it, and conquer the stars back then. And now we're trying to up that feat. We're trying to go past the stars yet again to a different planet, and it's just crazy to me. And as humans, we're the only species that has the ability to even think about doing that. You think a cat is thinking about going to Mars, or thinking about going to the moon, or thinking about going anywhere in space, or a donkey. You think a donkey is like, oh man, I want to go to the moon one day. No, they're just fucking thinking about survival, and that's it. They're not thinking about anything else. And I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling, but that's kind of that's what makes humans so special. We're able to have these thoughts, and we're able to think about those around us, and think about our peers, and think about how to innovate and how to grow, how to better ourselves as a species, how to hit new peaks, and just become better and do cooler stuff. To be honest, we're kind of at that point, I feel, where it's just how much cool stuff we can do. Like, and look, hey, if I had $1 billion, if I had $400 billion, I would probably be looking at stuff like that too, dude. Oh, how can we shoot past the stars and go to a new planet? That'd be sick. Why not, man? Why not? But that's truly that's what I think. That's my interpretation of what he meant when he said that we're meant for the stars. We're meant to conquer them. We're meant to go past them. We're meant to shoot past them. And whether you mean it in a literal sense, like shooting past them and going to the stars, or going to Mars or the moon or whatever, or you mean it in more like a, rhetorical sense, like we're meant for the stars, or shoot for the stars, or meant for the stars, like we're meant for greatness. We're meant to do great things in our lives, individually or as a group or as a species, or however you want to look at it. But regardless, I truly think that humanity is the chosen species, whether it's the universe or God, whatever you believe in. And yeah, I think we're meant to do great things, again, whether it's individually or whatever. Shoot for the stars, be the best person you can be. And yeah, I'm just rambling. Yeah, just, we're meant for the stars, baby. We're meant for the damn stars. You do you, man. Be the best you can be. Thank you guys for watching. A little debut video. I write scripts for most of my main channel videos. I was just kind of riff this. I'm probably a lot of ands and ums and whatnot, but if you made it this far, thank you guys for watching. If you have any topics you want me to talk about, and for whatever reason you wanted to see me yap about any topics, I got a few more video ideas, but leave them in the comments. Like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. It helps the channel. Yeah, thank you guys, especially if you made it this far. Love you all. I'm meant for the fucking stars, baby. Peace.